Everyone, Rudraksh from Team Nogat, Hackslash this side. Today you will be learning about Flutter and it will be your third video from Team Nogat side. So Flutter is an open source UI toolkit from Google that lets you write once and deploy natively across mobile, web and desktop from a single code base. So this allows you to work more towards the featured side rather than optimizing for every single platform such as iOS, Android or Linux or other Windows side. So let's dive into Flutter and learn more about it. So why Flutter? What are the core benefits from Flutter? So first of all, it allows you to develop and deploy apps from a single code base. That is, it can run on both iOS and Android as well as web. Other than that, the native performance of Flutter is very good. It bypasses web browser tech and OEM widgets, which means that it renders its own widget from its own site rather than going towards UI based widgets. It also defines its own pixels for each of its widget. Also, the Skia and Impeller engines are very good for processing UI on GPUs. Next is the fast development. You can hot reload apps in milliseconds without losing state or accelerating iteration. We will be taking a look upon this fast development and hot reload side in a few minutes when we code a login page. So let's go forward. So how Flutter works, its engine and framework. So inside of the inside of the top layer of Dart, there is a C++ engine layer, which is very high performance and renders all the graphics via the Skia and Impeller engine, where Impeller is a newer engine that is developed by the Flutter team from Google. It is very fast in rendering widgets from GPU. It is also platform channel communication. That is, Flutter also needs access to camera, microphone, and other things. That's why platform channel communication is a major part of Flutter. Dart framework layer. Dart framework layer allows you to easily change the front end, animation, and the widget libraries for daily work. You don't need to go deep inside C++ or other languages that are harder to make into UI components. So it makes your front end coding much more easier. Now hot reload feature. Sometimes when you code app, you need to make small changes into your UI and need to see how they look onto your app or the desktop. So hot reload feature allows us to do this in a very fast way. So suppose you want to add a new profile icon. So you add your icon, then click on the hot reload thunder button that is shown in the image, and you can see the change immediately. So first of all, let me show you how it is done, and let's make a small app or a login page into Flutter. So as you can see, this is the UI of Android Studio, which you must have downloaded from earlier videos. So first of all, we click on a new Flutter project to make our own Flutter project. Here it is Flutter. You select Flutter 1, then click on next. Let's take the name as Hackslash Study Jam. Make sure that there are no capital words in your project name, as it is not allowed. Click on create. Let's open it in a new window. So now let me give you a basic look on what is the folder structure for these apps and how it works. So first of all, the main changes that you will be doing will be in the main.dart file. That is the main file where you will be doing all the changes, like writing your code and making other things. It is the starting point for all the codes here. Next stage, perspec.yml. Perspec.yml allows us to lock on the dependencies of the app, such as different different libraries that you will be using, different assets or images that you will be adding must be mentioned here for your app to recognize it. We will be using it later. Next is the git ignore. As most of you would have known about GitHub these days, so GitHub allows you, so when you add the file name to git ignore, it automatically uh, makes the GitHub ignore the change into file, and it is not pushed into the staging area. Next is the Android files, or more specifically the Gradle files. Here you control everything about how your app will communicate with Android platforms. Next is iOS. Here you can use permissions required for iOS, such as camera and how your app communicates with the iOS side. The same is for Linux and the same is for Mac OS. Here is a test. When deploying apps, you write different types of tests to test how your app works in a simulated environment. The same is for web. When you are Flutter can be used to make web apps also. Thus, different things such as for like web communication can be controlled here. Also, there is a README file. You can think of README file as a introduction to your project, like how it works, how others can use it, uh, how it interacts with different platforms, and etc. So, README files allow people to learn more about your project in a easier manner and in a fast way. So, now let's code something and let me show you what is the initial code and how it is working. So first let us take a device. It is a phone API that allows us to see the changes that we do in our codes. Let it start. So here is the Pixel 7 emulator, and you can see all the changes in your code here. So let's take it to here, our emulator, and run the code. So the initial run of Flutter takes a little time, as it has to load a lot of different files into the emulator. So let it load the files. Till then, let us see other things about the project, about Flutter. So everything in Flutter is a widget. You can think of widget as a Lego block. You can layer different Lego blocks one upon another to make different structure. Flutter is not very much different from Lego blocks. You layer widget upon widget in a widget tree to form your apps and form your front-end UI. So every UI element from buttons to layouts is a widget at its core. Composition. Complex interfaces are built by nesting simple widgets within each other. Also flexibility. Widgets can be combined, customized, and extended to create any visual design. Uh, Android Studio and see how the app has loaded. So as you can see, this is the initial app from Flutter's code that is given in the initial project. If you press this button, the account on this homepage will increase. So let me tell you about different things about this homepage. So they have initialized the counter variable. Now they have made a function that is increment counter, where they have set state. Whenever the function is called, it sets the counter to +1. You would have done similar thing in your C programming also. Now let's see about different things about the code, how it works. So this is the main function of the code. The command to run app is given from this side. Now a class myapp is defined that extends stateless widget. So stateless widget is a widget or a type of widget that does not change its state when clicked or any other thing. It remains the same whatever you do. Now let's see different things about the app. So the title is Flutter Demo, and the theme is given. Color scheme is given for the top part of the top app bar, that is the deep purple color, and the homepage title is given Flutter demo page, which can be seen in the emulator also. Now let's see different about how the button is working. Also, this is the part where the body of app is defined. That is body, center. We take the whole of the home screen as a center. It is a single child, and then we define a column. A column is the, think of it as a very vertical part of the screen where you can place widgets in a vertical manner, going from top to down or down to bottom. So this is the main axis alignment. The main axis alignment means the vertical line, and there is also cross axis alignment. That means a line that is horizontally crosses the line, crosses the screen horizontally along the screen. Now it defines a child of the column, and the child is a widget also, that is that is text, which writes you have pushed the button this many times. And there is a floating action button, that is a button which acts on being clicked or any other type of thing that can be defined by yourself. And whenever it is pressed, that is the on press function, it calls the increment counter function that we have seen this side. That is, it increases the counter by 1 and displays it on the app. So now let's code a simple login page to show you how it all works. So let me first remove everything from this. Let's code our home page or login page ourselves, and let's see how Flutter works. Don't worry about the emulator now, as the code has been removed and it is not getting important things that it needs to run efficiently. So let's keep aside the emulator for some time and code our app. So we define the main function, that is the entry point for any code in different types of coding languages. It will contain our run app function, we will define a constant material app, because the home page for the base for any widget for any type of app must be constant, as if the base changes, the whole of the structure of the app may be destroyed. So let's define the home for this app, that will be the login, that will be our login page. Normally when you define the home for any other type of thing, it will not be your login page but your home page. But since we are only making our login page for now, we define it only as the login page. So you can see the login page is underlined in red. It is because we haven't defined our login page function yet. So let's define the login page class login page. We will first use a stateless widget function, as it will be easier for you to learn. Stateful widget is very much important in future applications, as most of the widgets you see in app today are stateful only. So but for current and learning phase, we must use stateless widget to see how widgets work. Now any type of login page is basically a form, so you fill the form with your email and your password. So first let us define a form. Many of you would have noticed why I place an underscore. So think about it and find yourself why an underscore is being put in things that I want to be private for me only and not for others to see. Some of you would who have programmed in Java may know previously. Then we override. So override is a function that allows us to change our change the login page differently according to our needs. That is, the login page has not yet been defined in other way that is not useful for us. So we override the given function to change it to our own needs. Then we define the build widget function. Widget build build context. So this function provides the context to the Flutter engine, that how it is going to work, and what are the needs that it will be needing from the UI and GPU. We define all our needs such as the background color. Let's keep it simple to white, colors dot white. You can see how easy it is to code the front end in Flutter. We now define the body. Let's keep a safe area that can be defined on all the different types of platforms, such that your UI doesn't overlap or gets cut in different parts due to different screen sizes. It is a good measure to always keep a safe area in your body in ready to deploy apps. Now let's also define a scroll wheel. It is named as single child scroll view in Flutter. Let's keep a padding of, let's say, 24 will work. 24, that is 24 pixels here. Now, since padding has already been done, let's create the child, that is the form. There will be its key. Every form needs a key to work. You will learn about it in later things when you learn web development, or try to build a form in any of the things. Let's define a column. It can be seen as a vertical part of your screen, where you can place different widgets in a vertical manner from top to bottom. So let's define the main axis alignment, and then its children. So let me now show you how you can place an image in your app. So for the most simple image implementation, we make a folder in our root of the app, that is you can see here. So let's make a new folder, or directory as we call it, and name it as assets. Under assets, we will make a new file directory, that is images. Now under images, we will place our logo that we need. So let us suppose we are making a logo for Twitter. So we just insert the image in images. Let us keep it as logo.png for our easy sake, and copy the file. Now let's get back to our work. So first, let us define the image inside. So image dot asset set assets / logo dot png. png is the extension name of this file. It can be anything that you need. It can be jpg, it can be webp. based upon your needs. Let's keep the height as 100. So image can be inserted from now on. So but before it is inserted, you need to do one more thing, that is to name the folder, name the path in the pubspec file. You don't need the absolute path, you only need to the path from the content root. So let's copy it and go to the pubspec.yml file. So here when you scroll down, you can see assets path. So let's uncomment it, and for the help sake, I will be writing it myself for the first time. Assets slash logo dot png. So as you can see, I have added the assets in image and the logo into the assets and pubspec YML folder correctly. So now let's go on to the coding part back. So here is the height of the image that we wrote earlier. So now let's go upon to coding the different forms and the rectangles where you place your text in. So for placing your text, you need something that is called as a text field in Flutter. So let's go upon it, and let me close this image part and place a size box. A size box is a vertical or a horizontal box that you can place to differentiate or make space between your different parts of the UI. So let's make a size box of height 24 here and do the rest of the coding. So we first insert text constant. These type of text will be normally constant only, as they don't change according to our needs. Let's say anything like welcome. Come. Now you can define different styles based on your needs. Let's try some of them. Style, text style, font size. We can first change font size. Let's keep it not 36, 28 only will be good. Let's keep the font weight. Font weight will look as bold good here. You can also place it as italic or other things that you find in PowerPoint or in Windows Word, in Word documents also. So font weight dot bold. Now let's place another text box here that will show us different things such as login into your account and other things. A constant size box of 10 will be good here. So let's place it. You need to place parenthesis, the comma here, so that Flutter understands that you have closed the text button and you are defining the size box after it, not inside it. That's why the constant was showing an error here. So let's make another size box of, we have made the size box. Let's write another text, constant text, login into your account to continue, to your account, maybe to continue. Let's place a bigger size box this time for our text fields and text boxes. And also you must understand that these are all the children of the column widget and are defined in a vertical manner. So if you want to see, let's run this code again and check how it is working. It is being run, and you are unable, you can see it's unable to load asset because asset is not being found here. So let's see why it is not working here. So take a look at our definition of the path here. Our logo is defined in assets, images, and logo, but I have written it here as assets slash logo directly. So and this is where the error is. So let me copy the absolute and the path from content root and paste it here. Now let me show you the power of hot reload here. See how fast it reloads your app. So this is so fast, and you cannot find it in any other of the programming languages that are used for app development, and it fastens your workflow in a very good manner. You don't need to reload your whole app every time. So our image and bird are here. Let's keep it a little down. It is very up. Let's place another size box of height 50 and see what happens. It comes down, but it is still not our needed height. Let's keep it at 100. So you can play with it according to your needs. So let's go upon programming it furthermore. We now need to define a text form field for form field. That is where we will be placing our email and our password. Let's define its decoration here also, like how it will look and what will be the input looking like. Input decoration. We define some hint text, that is it will be email here. We can also place certain icons here, such as the email or the email icon. So we will do it earlier. First, let us define some more things. That is filled to be true. You will see how it works in when I reload the app. Fill color. Colors.gray shade 200 will look good. You can place different shades of gray also, like it is defined from 100 to sometimes 1200 to sometimes 600 also. So let's try to keep it 200 this time. Now let's go further and apply some border to it also. Border. Let's keep an outline border. Outline. Input. Border. The border radius would be looking good to be 30. Border radius. Yes. The circular 10. No, I would like it to be more circular. So 30. And let's place a prefix icon here. Prefix icon, icons.email. And when we have completed our text form field, let's close it and define a size box for the another form that will be our use for password. So let me show how it will look. Let me reload the app. So as you can see, our email text form field has been created successfully. So now let's go on to programming our text form field for the password. So let me define the text form field again. Text form field. And let's name it as password. So first of all, we will make it sure that the text in kept inside the password will not be seen by other users. That is, it will be shown in the dotted form. So we will define obscure text, and it will be kept as true. Also, the autofill features provides problems sometimes, so make sure that you are aware about it and how it works. So let's keep the hint text as password only, it will be filled and it is true, and keep the set as the same only, which we have used earlier. Border radius will be also same as previously used, so let's keep it also. Now we will be using a prefix icon. So prefix icon and suffix icon. So prefix icon is used uh, when it will be used earlier. So, and suffix icon when we want to change the state, like when you want to the password to be to be viewed or not viewed. So it changes the state based on our needs. So we need to define a condition for it. You will learn about those conditions later. Let's define a constant icon. Icons.lock will look good here. Let's see why we are getting an error here. So as you can see, the autofill inserted an extra bracket here. So let's remove it and go on to coding it further. Now let's place another size box here and let us see how the app looks after reloading. The text form field for password is also loaded and you can see it here. Let me type something here. Let me first remove 123@gmail.com 123456. So this is how you can see that obscure password is working. Now let's define another height box for the button here. Also you can define your buttons inside size box also. So size box, and let me show you how it works. Size box width. Okay, let's keep it as double dot infinity. It is a very simple thing about double dot infinity. It's your task to find how double dot infinity works. Let's keep its height of the size box as 55 first. Then child will be the child of the size box. Okay, so child of the size box will be the button here. So elevated button, then let me show you how where the logic for the button is kept. So we define an onPressed function, onPressed, and also be sure to define your curly braces. This is where you write the condition that how the function will verify your password and what to do next after the form is verified. So let's keep it blank for now. Logic for verification and further routing is kept here. So let's move on to the styling of the button. So style, elevated style from, let's keep the color as black, but I don't think black will look good here. Let's keep it as blue. It will match the color of Twitter also. Let's keep it as 800. Also the shape, let's keep it circular. Shape, round the circular border 30. Let's define its text. So constant text login, it will look good. Color will be white only and font size will 20. So let's keep it also here. So the child for it is defined. Let's see how it reloads. The login page is also defined. Let's change the color to match our Twitter logo. Let's keep it at 400 and see what happens. So now it is looking more like login, like Twitter's color. So our login page has been created, and you can see how easy it was to create a login page, and we did it under 10 minutes using Flutter. You can add routing to like sign up page also here, or to admin page also, but those are different things. So let's keep it simple for now on, and you can see how easily we made it using Flutter. It can be pressed easily. So now let's move on further to our Flutter presentation. Now, state management. State management will be a thing when you would be making production ready or apps that will be having a lot of different widgets. So, what state management does is that it's only reloads certain widgets in your into your app, not all the widgets. And think of your app such as you are using Zomato, and Zomato suddenly starts reloading all of the widgets. So it will place too much strain onto your RAM, and the device may crash due to it. So state management is crucial into your app. So there are different state management things that we use, such as provider and block and river pod. Also GetX is one of them. So you will learn about them when you go into advanced app development. Also there are different types of architecture in app development, such as MVVM architecture, that is the model view model. It helps us in differentiating logic, data, and presentation layers. So when you are differentiating the front end, you don't need to change the logic behind it. You don't need to change everything in a single file. So it helps in differentiating and making our coding easier. There are many other different types of architecture. One of them is FFI, that is the feature first architecture. We define the features of the app in a different file, and then define the different models and different front ends in a different file. So state management will be crucial once you go into deep app development, but it is a complex and tough to learn thing, so that in later stages. So let's go on to the last part of our presentation, that is the community and ecosystem of Flutter. So as you must have known by now that Flutter is being supported by Google and thousands of contributors worldwide. So there is no shortage of documentations for you to learn about coding and different types of application of Flutter, from camera usage to microphone to network packages and different things. So there are more than 30,000 plus packages for different types that support different types of pre-built solution, that is for Wi-Fi management, for camera management and other things. Most of the developers are worldwide, and it is currently widespread into more than 150 countries, and there are 4 million plus active users. Also, most of the currently new generations app are being made into Flutter, and the older generation apps are being that had their code bases in Java or other languages such as Kotlin are being transferred into Flutter in a much faster rate. So Flutter would be an important thing when going forward in future ecosystems and future app development. That's why learning Flutter is important for anyone who wants to have a future in app development or any kind of development, as apps would be crucial for any of the companies in future generations. So I think after all of this, you are ready to build your own apps with Flutter. It has fast development cycles, expressive UI capabilities, and fast performance, which you have seen by now. So if you have any questions or doubts, you may ask in the comment section of the YouTube video, and we will be answering that for you. And best of luck for the future tasks which will be provided based upon the things we have already teached you. There will be one more video about Firebase that helps you to do authentication, and you will be learning about how the logics are placed into different tabs, or how it is connected, or how Firebase is connected. It is also a very important thing when going into app development. So thank you and best of luck, guys.